Kael. Orion's fingers danced over the horizon's control panel, each tap sending ripples of energy through the ship's hull. Outside the viewport, the Vera system stretched into darkness, a scatter of planets trembling under a dying star. Electromagnetic storms painted the void in electric blues and violet streaks, and Kael felt the familiar tightness in his chest. Another surge on the port side. Liora Vex called from the engineering deck, her voice calm but precise. Sparks crackled along the panels around her, but her eyes never left the display. Gravity wells are fluctuating. If we're not careful, this whole belt could shred us. Kael swallowed hard. We've navigated worse. Just trust me. I've got this. Liora didn't reply, just tilted her head, the thin line of her lips suggesting skepticism. Trust was a luxury neither of them had right now. From the medical bay, Tessa Arden's soft voice floated through the intercom. Crew biostats stable. But Kael, if your calculations are off, don't test my patience or our life support. She always balanced caution with warmth. A tether to humanity Kael wasn't sure he deserved. And then there was Riven Thorn, lounging near the viewport with one leg draped casually over the console, smirking. "You're tense. Captain, relax. Nothing says hero like surviving a few volts and some minor system failures." He tapped a knuckle against the glass, watching the storm swirl like liquid metal. "Besides, if this star dies, at least I'll go out in style." Kael gritted his teeth. "This isn't a game," Riven shrugged. "Everything's a game. Some just last longer than others." A sudden shudder ran through the ship, the kind that rattled teeth and made stomachs lurch. Warning lights blinked red, and Kael's pulse spiked. The horizon pitched violently as an unseen gravitational eddy tugged at the hull. "Brace yourselves," Kael shouted, slamming the thrusters forward. The ship screamed as it clawed through the storm, hull groaning like it had life itself. Sparks flew along the edges of the viewport as the energy pulsed, a flickering silhouette of light just beyond the horizon. Kael's stomach dropped. "Do you see that?" Liora leaned forward, eyes wide. "It's not natural." The shimmer pulsed again, fleeting, a shape of light that seemed aware of them, observing, and then gone. For a moment, silence filled the horizon. Every crew member felt it, the weight of the unknown pressing against them, a quiet reminder that the universe was far older, stranger, and more dangerous than any of them had imagined. Tessa's voice broke the silence, soft and steady. "Whatever that is, we'll face it together." Just like always, Kael. Let the words settle, a fragile hope amidst the uncertainty. They were on the edge of the void, but for the first time in a long time, he thought maybe they weren't alone. Asterisk, the universe is watching, and the horizon is about to find out why. Asterisk, the horizon drifted through the edge of the Vera belt, its thrusters humming like a heartbeat against the deafening silence of space. Kael's hands never left the controls, yet his eyes were drawn repeatedly to the anomaly hovering ahead, a ripple in reality, shimmering like liquid glass. "Kael. This isn't just a storm," Liora said from the engineering deck, voice low, almost a whisper. She leaned over the holodisplay, tracing the energy patterns with nimble fingers. It's structured, intelligent, it's reacting to us. Kael swallowed. Intelligent? You mean, like it's alive? Riven perched lazily along the viewport railing, snorted, "If it starts asking for a cup of tea, we'll know it's alive. Otherwise, it's just flashy space weirdness." But not just flashy, Tessa murmured from the medbay, scanning the biofeedback of the crew. "It affects us. I feel it too. There's something inside that light. Something watching." The horizon quivered, and Kael's stomach knotted as if gravity itself had betrayed them. The shimmer pulsed faster, then split, revealing a narrow tunnel of swirling light. Through it, Kael caught glimpses of structures floating, geometric, impossibly ancient. "Elysian ruins," Liora breathed, her usual detachment replaced by awe, or at least technology. Something left behind. The ship's sensors screamed warnings: gravitational flux, electromagnetic surges, hull stress approaching critical. Kael's jaw clenched. "We go in, or we hold back." Riven tilted his head, grinning despite the alarms. "Where's your sense of adventure, Captain? Besides, we don't exactly have a choice. Either we go, or that system collapses without us." Kael nodded, tension coiling like a spring. "All right, in we go. And everyone, strap in." The horizon shivered violently as it entered the rift. Inside, the laws of physics warped, gravity bent, light twisted, and the crew's reflections danced on invisible surfaces. The Elysian's structures loomed, translucent and ethereal, pulsating in sync with some unseen rhythm. Leora's voice cut through the chaos, tight with focus. "This tech, we can interface with it. But it's selective. It tests intentions. If it senses selfishness or fear, it pushes back." Riven's smirk faltered for the first time. "Great. So it judges us. Like a cosmic bouncer. No pressure." A sudden tremor sent the horizon spinning, alarms screaming. Kael fought the controls, muscles burning, sweat prickling his neck. In the viewport, one of the Elysian towers began to glow, an orb of light growing, expanding. It hovered, then pulsed directly at the ship. Tessa gasped. "It's probing us. Reading us." Kael clenched his fists. "Then we show it we're worth saving. That we're ready." The orb's pulse intensified. The ship shuddered as though reality itself were questioning their presence. And for a heartbeat, the crew was suspended in pure possibility, facing a choice that could determine not just their survival, but the fate of the entire system. The rift doesn't just test the ship, it tests the crew, and something ancient is watching. The horizon drifted silently among the fractured rings of Vera Prime, each shattered rock floating like a forgotten memory in the void. Kael hunched over the navigation console, his eyes flicking between holographic overlays of the rift and the ship's sensors. The Elysian's pulse still echoed in the hull, a rhythmic reminder that the system's collapse was accelerating. Liora leaned against a bulkhead, arms crossed, jaw tight. "We can't just react. Every choice from here on affects everything: planets, moons, lives. Her voice was calm but carried the weight of someone who had spent too long hiding from responsibility. Kael's gaze flicked to her. "I know, but hesitation kills. We have to act before Aurora's storms tear the system apart." Riven sprawled near the viewport with a datapad balanced on his knees, snorted, "Sure, act. And pray the ancient alien tech likes us enough to not vaporize the ship while we do it." Tessa stepped between them, hands brushing over the console's glowing surface. "It's not just the system that's unstable. It's us. We carry mistakes, guilt, memories. The rift sees them. If we let fear drive us, it'll block us." Kael rubbed his temples. Memories came unbidden, missions gone wrong, friends lost, decisions made too late. The weight of it all pressed down, and he realized the rift wasn't only testing skill, it was testing character. The ship shuddered violently. Alarms screamed. Liora leaped to the engineering console. "A storm's forming. The gravitational eddies are converging around the rift. We need to stabilize it," or Riven cut in sharply, voice tight, "or we die." "Got it." The crew worked in chaotic harmony, each instinctively taking their role. Kael piloted through the swirling field, thrusters screaming against invisible forces. Liora rerouted power to the stabilizers, hands flying over controls with surgical precision. Tessa monitored their neural feedback, issuing calm, quiet instructions to keep everyone focused. Even Riven, usually a loose cannon, operated with uncanny precision under pressure. But as the storm peaked, the rift pulsed again this time. It revealed visions. Kael saw echoes of his past failures. Friends' faces contorted in pain, voices accusing him silently. Liora glimpsed shadows of her family's long-hidden ties to the system's instability. Riven saw the path he had always avoided, choosing loyalty over profit, and Tessa. She saw them all intertwined, the human threads that bound them together. The visions faded, leaving the horizon floating in silence. Hull trembling, systems barely stable. The crew looked at one another, eyes wide, understanding something fundamental. Survival depended not only on skill or technology, but on trust, courage, and the choices they would make together. Kael exhaled slowly. The rift is showing us who we really are, and if we survive, we have to be worthy of it. The storm doesn't just test the ship, it tests the crew's hearts, past mistakes, and the choices that define them. The horizon trembled violently as it hovered above the core of the Aurora storm. Light bent around them in impossible arcs, casting ghostly reflections across the ship's hull. Outside, shards of crystalline debris spun like planets of glass. The system's energy pulsed in rhythm with the crew's anxious heartbeats. Every decision now carried the weight of billions of lives. Kael's hands gripped the control yoke until his knuckles whitened. "We have one shot. If the Arraean core rejects our intentions, or if we hesitate, Aurora ends tonight." Liora's voice was calm, measured, yet tense. "The override sequence is ready, but I'll need someone to manually stabilize the conduits at the core. One misstep, and the energy backlash will vaporize the ship." Her eyes flicked toward Riven. Riven straightened, chest tight. Me, you want me to walk into the eye of the storm and pray the tech docenti kill me? Tessa stepped close, gripping his shoulder. Because if anyone can do it, it's you. And because we need you alive on the other side. Kael exhaled, feeling the storm's pulse inside his chest, echoing fear, guilt, and hope all at once. We all have a choice. This is our moment. Do we survive for ourselves or for everyone Aurora touches? Riven's smirk faltered. For everyone, huh? Sounds heroic, terrifying. Outside, the Arayan core glowed, a swirling nexus of raw energy, reflecting not just the storm, but the intentions of those who approached. Liora's hands flew over the console, guiding Riven through the conduit maze via holographic interface. Sparks flew, panels warped, each moment stretched impossibly long. Kael piloted with precision born of desperation, the ship shaking as gravitational eddies threatened to tear it apart. Tessa's voice, steady and calm, flowed through the comms. Keep focused. Fear feeds the storm. Courage and trust will bind us together. Time fractured as the core flared, projecting visions of what might happen if they failed. Kael saw entire worlds vanish in silence. Liora glimpsed her family's hidden legacy unraveling into chaos. Riven confronted the path he had always avoided, choosing loyalty over pest. Tessa witnessed all of them, bound together in fragile, unshakable resolve. Then came the moment of choice. Riven dove into the conduit chamber, channeling the core's energy manually. Sparks crackled over him, alarms blared. Liora synchronized the override from the horizon. Kael piloted through the turbulence as Tessa kept their minds steady. A blinding pulse of light engulfed them. Time slowed, then snapped back. Silence followed. The storm calmed. Aurora's core hummed steadily, stable at last. They looked at one another, bodies trembling, voices caught in choked breaths. The system had survived, but the cost was etched into their souls. Some parts of the crew, machines and hope itself, were forever changed, yet in the calm, a fragile, luminous promise remained. Together, they had survived, and in surviving, had learned the true meaning of courage. Some storms cannot be tamed, but the hearts that face them together can bend fate itself. Asterisk. The Aurora system had calmed, where once violent energy arcs and crystalline storms had ravaged planets and moons. Now a soft luminescence bathed the horizon. The horizon floated silently, its hull scorched, systems damaged but alive. The crew stared out at the calm void, hearts still racing from the chaos they had just survived. Kael leaned against the console, exhaustion heavy in his bones. His hands shook not from the storm, but from the realization that every choice, every hesitation had carried life or death consequences. He looked around the cabin at Liora, Riven, and Tessa. Each bore their own scars, burns, bruises, and the invisible weight of trauma. Yet their eyes held something Kael hadn't dared hope for before: resilience and a shared understanding forged in the fire of survival. Leora's voice broke the silence. We did it. Aurora is stable. For now. But the system. We changed it. It's not the same. Her fingers brushed the controls, a tender acknowledgement of the delicate balance they had restored. The Orion tech. It's dormant, but I can feel its presence, watching, waiting. Riven, leaning against the viewport, gave a small, wry smile. Well, that's comforting. Dormant, watching. Sounds like a great vacation companion, but his voice carried warmth beneath the sarcasm relief. Pride and quiet admiration for the crew's bravery. Tessa moved between them, her hands gently steadying Kael and Liora. We carried more than Aurora tonight. We carried each other. That's the real proof that we survived. Kael exhaled, letting himself finally sink into the moment. I used to think heroism was about glory. I see now it's about choice. About courage in the face of impossible odds. About being willing to act, even when the cost is high. The Horizon's sensors blinked softly, scanning the stable core of Aurora. Below, planets glowed faintly with renewed life, oceans shimmering, cities untouched by the storm. Life would continue, civilization would continue, and the crew wounded, changed, but alive had become more than themselves. A family, a team bound by trials that would never leave them, yet had made them stronger. Kael turned toward the viewport one last time, letting the calm light of Aurora reflect across his face. He felt the lingering hum of the Orion tech, a silent promise and a reminder that the universe was vast, mysterious, and full of challenges yet unseen. Asterisk, some storms end with silence, some with light. We cannot control all that comes, but the courage to act and to stand together creates a legacy no storm can erase. Aurora ended, yet we endure, reaching for horizons still unknown. Asterisk.
Every story carries a lesson. If this one reached you, subscribe to watch more videos like this.